Hey guys, Brian from Boas here. Well, it's that time of year again, a really exciting time in the life of a boa breeder because the breeding season is just around the corner. Today I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek preview of some of the highlights of my possible breeding pairs for 2022, including some animals I've never paired up before, so be sure to stay tuned for that. So the first, of course, are going to be the BCC, and true red tails have kind of become my bread and butter, and if there was only one type of boa I work with, I would work with, it would probably be the true red tail. And of course Surinames are a type of red tail I've been working with for quite some time. Have a number of pairings in the works, and one of them will involve this guy, and this guy is one of my favorites. This guy was born here in 2014. The number one holdback from my first litter of true red tails. I actually named him Picasso because he's a work of art, and he has bred the last 2 years in a row. He sired litters in 2020 and 2021. So hopefully we'll continue the streak and he'll have some more babies in 2022. This is just a great example of a true red tail. Just a beautiful animal, very clean appearance, perfect symmetrical peak saddles, nice long red tail. Also one of the better personalities of the true red tails I have. I really enjoy taking this guy out to handle. So not sure what female I'm going to pair him up with yet, but pretty certain that this guy is going to be making an appearance in 2022. I'm still not sure about which animals I'm going to pair up in 2022, so this is kind of a highlights video of possible pairings, and I'll be really considering it over the next month or so because I imagine my animals are going to be paired up probably late November, early December. And so as far as the mate for the Suriname male I just showed you, this is one possibility. This is a Prometheus bloodline Suriname Redtail female, and she was born here in 2016. She hasn't been bred yet, but just a beautiful example of this bloodline. Very nice peak saddles, nice long red tail. Kind of an overall dirtier appearance than the male I just showed you, but a lot of color. And so I'm not quite sure yet. I might also pair this female with another Prometheus bloodline animal, to intensify the effect of that bloodline. But I really like both the bloodline of this animal and the male I just showed you. So they might end up paired together. We'll just have to see. But Surinames are one of my bread and butter species, and hopefully I'll have some more babies in 2022. Of course, I'm a big fan of the Peruvian red tails as well, and this is a female that I might pair up in 2022. This is an Iquitos Peruvian female, born on a farm in Iquitos, Peru back in 2016, and I've been growing her up and really like this animal. She really exemplifies the look of the Iquitos Peruvian boas. And I've said before that I'm somewhat skeptical that there's a huge difference between the Pucallpa and the Iquitos Peruvian red tails. But if you believe in the in this distinction, this female really has that Iquitos look. She's got this really nice dark black, inky black saddles. She's got this bright pale yellow background color, nice long red tail, flat and wedge shaped head with a lot of head markings. Really a breathtaking boa to look at. Really muscular as well. And I also like she's kind of got this nice pink stripe down her side. The male that I might pair her up with also has this nice kind of orangey pink lateral stripe. So hopefully if I'm successful in this pairing, this trait might come out in the babies. And real nice animal. I haven't paired this one before, just been patiently growing her up. But I think 2022 might be the year for her to make her debut. Nice Iquitos, Peru, true redtail boa. Another type of true redtail that I really would like to breed here, but I haven't been successful in the past, is the Venezuelan true redtail boa like this one. And I've had a pair that I paired up the last 2 years in a row, and both times I've struck out and I haven't gotten any babies, unfortunately. So for 2022, I think I might mix it up a bit and I might use this male instead. This male is a 2017 baby produced by my friend Mike Lucchese, and this guy is coming online and is ready to breed now. And so we'll see. Hopefully this guy, if I put him in with the female, he might be a little more interested. Not quite sure why the male that I paired up with the female wasn't interested, or if there was some kind of incompatibility in the breeding, or something like that. Sometimes you have a pair that they just don't breed for whatever reason, and everything can look perfect, they can be in perfect health, they can be conditioned exactly right, but it just doesn't take. It's up to the boas to mate. We can only do our best to get them ready to go. So hopefully this guy will be more interested, or maybe the female will like this guy better. I'm also considering a multiple male situation where I have 2 males in with a female, and this is a technique that was used a lot in the past. It seems to have kind of fallen out of favor, lately in boa breeding, but going back a few decades, using multiple males with a female, or even breeding groups, was more popular. And I might discuss this in an upcoming video. There's a number of reasons why this can increase your chances of success. But it's something I might try with my Venezuelans in 2022. But this is a beautiful animal, nice light colors, nice bow tie shaped saddles. What I like about these Venezuelans is that they're a little bit smaller than the Peruvians and Surinams. Beautiful look, but distinctively different from the Peruvians and the Surinams. And you rarely see these guys. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of people working with them. But definitely a favorite true red tail. And fingers crossed that I have some babies, Venezuelan true red tails in 2022. So moving on from the true red tails, another type of boa I really like working with, and I try to produce every year, are the dwarf boas and the island boas. And one of my favorites in this group are the Tarahumara Mountain Boas from northern Mexico, like this guy. And unfortunately, I didn't produce any of these in 2021. I think my male might just be getting old. I'm not quite sure what's going on. Sometimes they just need a break for a while. So for 2022, I might use this guy. This is a holdback from 2017 who's, just reaching adulthood and is, ready for prime time as a breeder. So you can see how beautiful this guy is. I just love the markings and patterns on these boas. They also have a lot of nice pink and sometimes even blue-green highlights to them. Hopefully some of the beautiful pink colors in this guy are coming out on the camera. I like the circle pattern down their backs, and I also really like the demeanor. They're very calm boa. They kind of sit still a lot more. I actually prefer handling this guy to my true red tails. If you saw my true red tails, I had them out. They were kind of moving all over the place and trying to get away. Whereas this guy is just much calmer to handle, and they kind of do better on camera, I think. But love these Tarahumara Mountain Dwarf Boas. Hopefully I'll produce some more babies in 2022. This guy is a pure Rio Bravo bloodline. Both of his parents came from Gus Renfro. So awesome animal, and great for people that want a small boa that has a lot of the large boa behaviors in a more manageable pint-sized package. The Tarahumara Mountain Dwarf Boa from northern Mexico. Another dwarf boa that I'm hoping to produce in 2022 is this type. This is a Caulker Cay Boa. These are from a small island off of the coast of Belize. And they don't really get much bigger than the Tarahumara. This guy is 2016 male, so he's pretty much full size, produced by Chris Wolf. And when I first got these boas, they reminded me of the Caulker Cay Boa, which is another Belize island boa, and superficially they're quite similar. But the difference is that these guys kind of have a more stocky body, and they kind of have a more square, blotchy saddle, and the saddle shape is a little more similar between animals. Whereas the Caulker Cay Boas have a lighter gray background color. They're more likely to have striping and aberrant patterns, and they're a little bit more elongated. But overall they're quite similar. I produced the Caulker Cay in the past. I haven't produced these Caulker Cay, so this will be the first time pairing them up. So hopefully we'll have some baby Caulker Cay Boas. But just a really cool animal. Like the Tarahumara Mountain Boas, these guys have a lot of the big boa constrictor behavior in a much smaller package. They're a little bit more squeezy than the Tarahumara Mountain Boas. Just you can really get the sense of the strength of this guy and the muscles. But of course he's maybe 4 feet long, so he's not going to do any damage at all. Just likes to kind of hold on. But really cool island boa, the Caulker Cay Boa from Belize. This next locality boa that I'm thinking of pairing up in 2022 probably needs no introductions to the fans of this channel, and that of course is the Argentine Boa. And you know, as I've said before, these are one of my all-time favorite locality boas, possibly my #1 favorite, and they were actually the first boa that I ever bred, you know, before I was really seriously into breeding boas. And so this is a female that was a baby produced in my last litter of Argentine boas, which was back in 2015, so quite some time ago. And so she's now 7 years old in nice breeding condition. And you know, I probably would have bred these guys hopefully sooner, but you know, it was hard to find a male. I ended up having a small litter from an older pair back in 2015. They were all females and I kept them all. And you know, I was looking around for a male for quite some time. As you probably know, these animals became a little bit scarce over the last few years, and the price kind of went up, so it was kind of hard to find a male. And then I had to, you know, grow the male up, of course. These guys always have a special place in my heart because my first locality boa breeding was my Argentine Boas back in 2005, and my original pair I had acquired back in the late 90s. Unfortunately, after the 2015 litter, both the male and female passed away. You know, so it's great to have this female to carry on the bloodline and the tradition of the Argentine Boas. But just a great boa, and I'll be super thrilled if I produce some of these Argentine Boas in 2022. Next, we have a first-time pairing for me, and this is a Bolivian Amarali Boa, Boa Constrictor Amarali from Bolivia. This is a bloodline that was founded by the breeder Joe Terry, that's known as the Orange Crush bloodline because of the beautiful orangey, purplish orangish colors. Really, unique colors. I haven't seen colors like this in any other snake. Great animal as far as a pet. These guys are super responsive and seem like they're almost have an intelligence, like they can recognize the keeper. And so I have a female also from this bloodline, and these guys are born in 2016, so they've reached the age where they might be able to breed. And Bolivian boas are one of the types that you don't really see too often, so it'd be great to have a litter of these so that some of the other keepers out there can enjoy them. The Bolivian Boa, Boa Constrictor Amarali, Orange Crush bloodline. The 2022 boa breeding season is also going to be noteworthy for me because this is the first year that I'm going to attempt to do a morph boa breeding. And as you know, I'm primarily a locality boa breeder, and all my breeding projects up until this point have been locality boas. But about 5 years ago, I started to acquire a few morph boas just to give me something different to work with. And one of the morphs that attracted me to this was the Marron morph. And Marron is an incomplete form, or incomplete dominant form of pastel. And this female is one of the animals I acquired. Unfortunately, she's in shed right now, so she doesn't look really great. There's always at least one boa that ends up being in shed whenever I want to film a video about it. But this is a Hypo jungle Marron female. And so she has 3 incomplete dominant genes, Hypo, Marron, and jungle. And together they give her this really nice bright color, a lot of oranges and pinks. They give her these reduced saddles. Sometimes they have aberrancies and striping. And the Marron gene just has this really nice pastel color. The super form of the Marron is really noteworthy. They have this really deep dark red color. And so one of the reasons I got into morphs is I wanted to produce a Marron VPIT positive boa. So this female, I'm planning on pairing her up with my VPIT positive male, who I'll show you in a sec. But just a really cool project. This female has 3 incomplete dominant genes, so there's a 50% chance that any of the babies will get these genes. So we'll get all kinds of different combinations in the offspring. And the offspring, if successful, will also be het for VPIT positive. So really good boa to have as far as a genetic powerhouse. Of course, this is a 2-generation project. Some of those babies I'll then grow up, and then I'll cross them with other VPI animals to produce visual VPI Marron jungle hypos. And I've seen pictures of these VPI Marron boas, and it's almost electric looking. They they almost glow with this bright orangey yellow color. It's really an amazing, cool looking boa. They also retain the color throughout their lifetime from the VPI gene, so really exciting. And of course I'm planning on sticking to locality boas for the vast majority of my projects, but it's always fun to have some of these cool morph boas as well. This is the guy that I'm thinking about pairing that Marron Hypo jungle female up with, and this is a VPI T positive male, and just a breathtaking animal. So VPI T positive or caramel albino is definitely my favorite albino, and it's one of my favorite morph boas. It's just breathtaking. I mean, look at the colors of this guy. Just amazing. And what's great about these animals, unlike a lot of the other morph boas, they don't fade with time. This guy's only gotten more intensely colored as he's gotten bigger. Just this beautiful lemon yellow with these light caramel colored saddles, a lot of like pink and orangey highlights, especially on his sides. You know, just an absolutely beautiful animal. The other great thing about these guys is this is a single gene morph. You don't need all these genes to have a cool looking animal. Just one gene is enough to really give this guy this amazing appearance. And it's also a great morph because it doesn't scream morph. Some of these morphs just look fake. They look artificial or like they're not even alive, some of them. But this just looks like a really nice, brightly colored boa. It's got a similar pattern to the non-morph boas and nice red tail, but just a breathtaking animal. So as I mentioned, I'm going to pair this guy with the Hypo Marron jungle female, and if things go well, hopefully we'll have some babies who are het for VPIT positive, because this is a recessive morph, and they also will express Hypo jungle and or Marron in the different combinations. And so my plan would be to hold back some of the Hypo Marron jungle hets, grow them up, and then cross them to hopefully produce Hypo Marron jungle VPI T positive visual albinos, which should be quite a breathtaking looking boa. But of course it's going to be a two generation project, and part of the reason that the morphs appeal to me a little bit is you get different things from them than you get from the localities. And I know the vast majority of you guys are really strongly into the locality boas, but there are some sides of the morph boas, like this, the genetics of the different crosses and predicting the outcome of the babies, that you just don't get that side of breeding with your with most of the locality projects. And I did a video before on the pros and cons of both morphs and localities, so check those out if you want, give you some ideas about why I like some of these morph boas. But anyway, VPIT positive albino, really great morph boa. Looking forward to pairing this guy up in a couple months. So I'll show you guys a couple more locality boa pairings that I have in mind for 2022. And the first is the long-tail boa, also known as the Tombs boa, from the locality in Peru where it was collected, or Boa Constrictor lancicata. And so this is a female from Vin Russo's bloodline, who I haven't bred before. Unfortunately, she's in shed right now. She's a little bit dull, but it gives you an idea about the beautiful colors. They're just a really dark boa, and it's really distinctive that they start off light in color, and then with each shed they get a little bit darker until, this is a 5-year-old female. You can see how dark she is. And just a beautiful, beautiful animal. Just love the really dark head markings, and the stripes on the side of the face are just really gorgeous. And so 2021 was my first year to breed the lancicata, and my Beset bloodline female gave birth. So hopefully I'll be able to produce some more babies in 2022 with this beautiful female. And I think this female is probably my favorite of my, I have 2 pairs of them, and I think this female is my favorite of all the, all 4 of the animals. They're just gorgeous dark colors. This female's also het for anery, and I have a male that's het for anery, so with any luck I'll get some anerythristic babies. And they have a general similar appearance as far as the dark colors, but they don't have this yellowish color. It's much more black and white looking, and they can look really breathtaking. Some of them almost look like a black and white photograph. But the lancicata boa is a great animal for someone that wants kind of a medium-sized boa. They're really enjoyable to handle, great pet animal, but just a great locality boa from Peru, the long-tail boa. For a lot of you guys, I think I saved the best for last, and that's this guy. This is an anerythristic Paraguana Peninsula Boa from Venezuela. And this guy is, of course, the official mascot of the Brian Boas YouTube channel named Anubis. And I get a lot of comments from you guys on this one. Just people are kind of blown away by the looks. They've never seen a boa quite like this. Definitely a unique boa. And, you know, I think it's a really special boa and really shows, you know, how great locality boa breeding can be. And so these animals, the Paraguana Peninsula Boas, are very interesting biologically because they're from this peninsula in northwestern Venezuela. It kind of sticks out into the Caribbean, and they look different, and you know, their behavior is different from the boas from other parts of Venezuela, like the true red tails. These technically aren't true red tails. They're kind of intermediate between boa imperator and boa constrictor. They're a dwarf boa. This guy is full size, and he's only about maybe 4 feet long. And this is an anerythristic variant, so this guy lacks the red and yellow pigment, and he's got this beautiful, almost black and white appearance. And so this guy was born in 2017, bred by Vin Russo. Beautiful animal. I was really lucky to get this guy when a good buddy of mine got out of boas, and you know, I bought it from him. But I also have an anerythristic female who's, you know, just as nice as this male. And so hopefully with any luck, they'll be interested in each other. And we'll have a litter of anerythristic Paraguana Peninsula Boas in 2022. But it would definitely be great. You know, I just love these animals. This is one of my all-time favorite boas, and just a great, great boa. So really excited about the possibilities for this guy in the 2022. So that was just a sneak peek. I'm not exactly sure yet of which animals I'm going to pair up. These are just some ideas and some of the highlights. There's some other projects that I might be pairing up as well. But you know, really excited about the possibilities for the year ahead. So now you guys let me know which of these projects is the most exciting or interesting to you. Also, if there's a project that you think I work with that you don't see in this video, let me know. I'll tell you, you know, maybe I have that in mind as well. Anyway, as always, shoot me any questions or comments you might have. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and enjoy your boas.